Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. Countdown continues 8 days away from the start of the NFL season, and we are in mid-season form, baby.
Mid-season form.
8 days. Cannot wait for next week. Football is back. Also, Matt is not here. Obviously, he will be back next week, most likely, for our week 1 preview. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But this week, we are heading into the biggest draft weekend of the NFL season. If you are looking for more draft advice, fantasy advice, check out our YouTube audio versions of our podcast. We have episodes for every single team, positional rankings, and a live draft all over the past couple of months. But for this episode, we're going to be pivoting from the typical fantasy content, focusing more on the real NFL side of things. We're doing our best to predict every team's record, division winners, our 7 playoff teams, and final standings, and finally, our Super Bowl predictions. So it's something new for us. We're trying something new. I thought it'd be a fun thing to look back at the end of the season, along with our fantasy postseason award show. And this one's going to be a little bit more off the cuff, not as clean cut, just riffing back and forth. You know what I mean? So good luck on your drafts this weekend, but let's get into talking about the divisions, starting with the NFC North.
Let me just go ahead and spoil it. I have that book from Back to the Future, so my predictions are correct. Like I know the score. I didn't put scores, but I have pretty much the records are the you want to hear this. And you want to place your bets as I speak.
Oh my God. Bold.
Super bold. Musty Flower already in the chat saying Bears are going all the way.
Oh, yeah, to the freezing cold take.
Freezing cold. That's actually scorching hot if you want to look at it that way too. Whatever way
Terrible
you want to
team.
Look at it. Bears, we'll see. Q, start us off with your NFC North record predictions.
All right, so we'll start off with the Bears because that's who we're talking about. They're going to go a lousy 2-15, which is going to be fighting for a bottom of the league record.
Sorry, Musty.
Then we have the Packers. Actually, we'll go all the way up. So next is the Lions at 6-11. So I guess it's an improvement from last year. I think they had like 3 or 4 wins. Then we have the Packers, who take a big step back due to Devontae Adams leaving. Aaron Rodgers is still good enough to keep them over 500. And then in first place, the new reigning NFC North champion, Kirk Cousins and Minnesota Vikings, finishing at a fantastic 15-2.
15-2 is absolutely outrageous.
They do not have a hole in their team.
Captain Mid does not take them to 15 wins.
Precisely. Captain
and
Mid.
They got Jalen Reagor, maybe 16-1.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Please stop.
You're hurting me. You're hurting my soul, honestly. Like, Jalen Reagor might bring them down from what your prediction was.
He might.
Is not.
Sorry, but he might. That's important.
He really might. Might fumble the rock, get cut.
Maybe he takes all of Justin Jefferson's superpowers.
Stop. Don't even wish that on anyone who's a Jefferson owner.
I don't own him in any league, so it doesn't hurt me right now.
I think our podcast owns him.
Great. Everyone but this podcast league.
All right. I'll do Matt's real quick before we do T-Gods here. Matt has the Bears at 3-14, a little bit better than Q.
One win better.
He's got the Lions at 7-10, also a little bit better than Q. Packers, the same record as Q, 9-8, and the Vikings at 13-4. So Matt is riding the exact same train Q is on, which is Ozzy Osbourne's crazy train, because that's a lot of wins. T-Gods, what does your standings look like?
So I guess we're starting at the bottom, and I'm sorry, but it is the Bears. Not as bad though. I got them at 5-12. Like they're still bad. It doesn't matter. Like 5 if they're lucky. Then I have the Lions at 8-9. I do believe in the Lions. I like their weapons.
Because you watch Hard Knocks?
No, bro. Besides Hard Knocks, like before that came out, I was talking about the Lions, and like I do believe in them. I think they'll be all right. Like the Packers, 10-7. Those 10 wins are all just because of Aaron Rodgers. Like,
yep,
that's it. He's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still the GOAT. Still the MVP. Like, and then the Vikings at 13-4. not 15 wins or 16. No
Just 15.
shot. They still have Kirk. Kirk is going to blow games. Those 4 losses are all going to be on Kirk. Guaranteed.
Regardless, though, that's like a crazy good record from what we're used to with the Vikings. 13 or 15 or 12. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Shout
they
out
were
JJ.
8-9 last year. So that's a huge
They
jump.
lost that
With
Mike
a first-year
Zimmer
head coach, right?
Yes. Offensive-minded head coach. So Kirk's going to eat.
Yeah, at this rate, Musty's hoping that I'm going to say something amazing for the Bears. So
Keep wishing.
I'm also taking the Bears at 5-12. Same as T-Gods, but I actually have a little bit more faith in the Bears. Just the O-line is atrocious right now, so that scares me, number one. Justin Fields is still unproven. I think he has talent, and I'm excited to see him play again this year, but I'm just nervous about it. I don't know about the Bears. I like their offensive weapons a little bit, but wide receiver room's lacking. O-line's lacking. Defense is mid. They've lost a lot of pieces there over the last couple of years. So 5-12 feels right. Lions 7-10. I'm with T-Gods there too. I think they could be like a sneaky team that could jump up a couple more wins than I have them predicted for and sneak in the playoffs. At best, though, like 7 seed in the playoffs is their ceiling. I don't think they're going to go any higher than that. Still Jared Goff led team, even though he's been to the Super Bowl. It's just not ideal. Vikings, I do not have them winning the division.
What?
I have them at 11-6, and I have the Packers at 12-5. It's going to be close. I think either team could win the division, but I think Devontae Adams is a big loss for Aaron Rodgers in terms of his numbers and whatnot, but I still think this Packers team has a really good defense, solid O-line, really good run game, and Aaron Rodgers. Like, the wide receivers are going to hurt a little bit in terms of his numbers and what it looks like, but I think this team's going to be just fine. They're still going to put up points and win games. Just can't see them going that bad. Like 9-8, like Packers are up, like they've been so consistent over the past couple decades.
Games like the last couple of years.
Yeah, like 12-5, maybe 11-6. I think at worst they're getting 10 wins for me personally, and their schedule is not that hard. I mean, first of all, they get the Lions and the Bears twice each.
Yeah,
they might lose 1 or 2 of those. Doubtful though. But they have other games too. They play the NFC East, which is the Commanders and the Giants. Also, the Patriots. You're not scared of the Patriots either for them.
Suck.
The Dolphins. I don't know. I like the Packers.
All right.
So 3 of us taking the Vikings, and I'm the only one on an island here taking the Packers.
What's that say? Vikings are winning that division.
We'll see about that one. At the end, we will get into our exact playoff predictions and where the teams are going to be seated. But let's move on to the NFC East, the biased division, as we are Eagles fans. So you might see some incredible bias in this division. Q, you can start us off.
All right. So once again, we'll start from the bottom with the Giants. So used to the bottom. I have them at 5-12, which is an upgrade from them being 3-13 last year. Then we have the Commanders at 7-10. I don't know what they were last year, but Wentz will definitely give them some wins that they probably couldn't have gotten last year.
They were 7-10.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll have to switch that and give them another one just for Wentz. Then we have the Cowboys at 8-9. I honestly think that the Giants have better skill players than the Cowboys, but Daniel Jones is absolute garbage. So I can't do that. And then I have the Eagles at an unbiased 15-2.
Unbiased 15-2.
I gave them a loss against the Cowboys, so I would that hurt to do. The other loss came against the Titans. One's a home game, but the Eagles are taking that division. And even if it's not 15, even though I'll ride with that number, they're winning that division. They have the best, easily best. And you can ask around the whole world.
I like it. I am in agreement with you with the division. I'll hop in with Matt's real quick. Giants at 2-15. So he thinks they are going to be brutal again. Commanders 6-11. Cowboys 11-6. And the Eagles at a whopping higher than Q 16-1, with their only loss coming against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that's weird.
A weird team to pick out of the Eagles schedule, but either way, Matt has them going 16-1, nearly undefeated. Absolutely absurd. 16-1 for
Better than
any
the
team is
Super Bowl
difficult.
year.
Way better. That's outrageous. 16-1, nearly perfect.
City would explode.
Yeah.
Explode.
T-Gods, what do you got?
So I guess I'm much lower on the Commanders than you guys are. I have them going 3-14. But like, look, I'm looking at the games, right? Okay, so like I had them losing to the Jags week 1. Like
Spicy?
Is it
Actually, I think I have the same.
exactly? So like
I
it's not that spicy. I had them losing to the Lions. I said I believed in the Lions. Like they're going to lose to the Eagles twice. They're going to lose to the Cowboys twice, and they might get one against the Giants. So besides that, like Titans L, Bears, it's going to be the Pooper Bowl, but I think the Bears still take that game, losing to the Packers, losing to the Colts, losing to the Vikings. I have them winning against the Texans, the Falcons, and the Giants. And that's it. Like they're losing to the Browns, losing to the 49ers. Like
they're gonna win that last game against the Cowboys.
Maybe if the Cowboys are popping off and like benching everybody, then maybe. Like bro, like
Yeah.
I don't believe in Carson. I don't believe I hate Terry. I'm sorry, but I do. I don't know. It's fine, but whatever. I got the Giants, I got the Commanders, both going 3-14. I got the Cowboys going 10-7, and the Eagles are gonna be 13-4.
All right. All high on the Eagles here winning the division. Gator in the chat for the first time all season. Welcome back, Gator. We missed you. Also, Matty P cut Pepe hands. Matty P actually not cut. He is getting a haircut, I think, but he is not here for this episode. All right. My NFC East prediction. I have the Giants cleaning out the bottom. I do think they'll be a bit better than last year and a bit more competitive, but I still have them going 5-12. Commanders, I have going 7-10, similar to what you had. I think they are a little bit better than T-Gods is giving them credit for. I have them upsetting teams here and there. Like I do have them beating the Browns late in the season. I have them also upsetting the Titans.
No shot, dude.
I have
so many
them
Carson
beating the
Wentz
Lions as
games.
well. So I think there's a couple of games where they'll surprise. Their defense is pretty solid. 7-10 feels right. They're still not going to make the playoffs, but they'll be competitive. I have the Cowboys at 10-7. And then I have the Eagles at 12-5.
Fair.
The lowest of all of us with 12 wins feels crazy. I think 11-13 feels right for the Eagles' schedule. It's really not that difficult. And I think with all the pieces they added, they should be that good. Really, it all comes down to Jalen Hurts. Like everything else about that team, even bias aside, they have one of the best O-lines in the football. They added wide receivers and weapons for this team. They have a decent run game, obviously led by Jalen Hurts himself. And then the defense added pieces at all three levels. So pass rush is going to be good. Secondary is going to be good now. Linebackers still kind of mid, but they'll be serviceable for
Excuse
sure.
me? You're calling Hassan mid?
Well, no, Hassan, I still consider him like a D end almost. Like he's only going to be like used as like a blitzing linebacker essentially. But either way, Eagles winning the division for all four of us.
We're not biased though, because last year I don't think any of us had the Eagles winning the division.
Very true.
We had
last year
every other team besides them. I think I picked the Giants.
I think with me, T-Gods, and Matt, if I remember, all picked the Cowboys to win the division last year. So no one ever. It's very rare that the teams repeat in the NFC East. I think it's been like 15 years. So
and the Eagles were the last ones to do it, I think.
Yeah, and the Cowboys won last year, so Eagles are taking it back this year. All right, NFC West. Q, who do you got for this division?
Used to be the best division until the AFC West came along. But we have the Seahawks at 4-13. They have the whole same team besides Russ and Bobby Wagner, pretty much the two leaders on that team gone. So they're going to stink. Next, we have another stinky team. We have the Cardinals at 6-10. Wait, I guess it would be 6-11. Those first 6 games without D-Hop are going to be bad. And we know the Cardinals always fall apart in the second half of the season. So if the first half is bad and the second half we know they're going to fall apart, they're just going to be terrible. Kyler going to be regretting that contract, or the Cardinals will be. Second place we have the 49ers at 9-8. I think Trey Lance is just good enough, unless he's benched for Jimmy halfway through the season, to get them at least over 500. And then the Rams will repeat at 12-5.
All right.
Because they added Allen Robinson. So they weren't going down.
I like the Rams. disrespect
Oh my
to the
God. You're going to say
Cardinals.
something so stupid.
I'll talk about the Cardinals when
Yeah,
I'm
I
on.
know.
I will. Let's go move on to Matt real quick. Matt has the Seahawks going 3-14. And then every other team in this division, he has finishing above 500. So he's got the Cardinals at 9-8, 49ers at 11-6, and the Rams at 13-4, winning the division. I don't hate it. I think that's a realistic prediction for this division. I think all three of those top teams all have a shot at winning the division with the Rams at the top. I'll give mine in a sec, but T-Gods, what do you got here?
So I also have the Seahawks going 4-13. I don't love that because I enjoyed watching the Seahawks play, but now I most certainly am probably going to be on my phone most of the time during those games. 49ers 7-10. That might be a little low. 49ers, I feel like they always find ways to win games. Lowest of key, just any weird ways. The 49ers are always just they're always solid. Then I got the Cardinals at 11-6. I think Matt's a little crazy for only getting them 9 wins. I think more like 11 is right. And then the Rams, Super Bowl champs, 12-5. 12-5, it's not that solid, but maybe I'm sleep on them a little bit, but I don't know. 12-5. It felt good in my heart. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that's right around where they're going to be as well. You said Matt was a little low with the Cardinals at 9. You did have them with 6 wins.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say.
Sorry. I was doing so many different things while you were talking, Q. I'm sorry. I didn't hear a word you said.
Q,
you're fried.
6-11.
They're
so
not that
fried.
Good.
All right.
You're
I'll
so
wrap this up.
sleep. Hold on. Why aren't they good?
All right, this is the quick explanation I gave.
He just hates Kyler.
They're going to have no D-Hop first 6 games. Then they're known to finish slow the rest of the season. So if they're not good the first 6 and they're slow the next 11, they're just going to be bad. So I'll give them 6. Maybe they'll just win the 6 games without D-Hop and lose the rest.
You are sound asleep.
Kyler is a baby. And
you're a baby taking a nap
I'll
right
take
now.
Geno Smith over Kyler.
Oh my God,
now. Stop now.
I'm so mad. You have QB mid finishing 15-2, and then you put Kyler with 6 wins.
Because Kirk's the top 10 quarterback. And
At least
Kyler
I
isn't.
can acknowledge that Kirk is going to be in a playoff team with 11 wins.
Grow up, Q.
Am I supposed to feel bad and then make Kyler better? No.
Yes.
The Cardinals as a whole are better. I have the Seahawks at 4-13. So I think we're all in agreement that the Seahawks are going to struggle a lot this year. They lost a lot of pieces on that team. I have the 49ers at 8-9. Feels a little low, but with their schedule, this entire division schedule, they're all playing, I believe, what division are they? Yeah, they're all playing the AFC West. So I have the AFC West as the king division in the football this year.
Yeah.
So that was tough for me to pick many upsets for this division over them. And they're also playing the NFC South, which Bucks are also going to add a loss for a lot of these teams. I have the Cardinals at 10-7. So even I understand that they're probably not going to win the division, although I do think they have a shot. I have the Rams at 11-6 to wrap it up. I think we all have the Rams winning this division. Pretty basic chalk pick, but coming off that Super Bowl win, I don't see where they're going to drop down. They've added some pieces onto that defense as well as that offense. I think they are the clear-cut best team. Cardinals, Q is unbelievably sleep on. I think that offense is high.
I can't wait to be right.
I think they'll be just fine without D-Hop for 6 weeks. I don't think that's going to kill this team at all. I think they're just going to pick up some of that slack and they'll get even better halfway through the season. Especially considering they also get the Panthers and the Seahawks in those first 6 games. Those are automatic dubs.
Are they?
Yes.
Yes.
Also, Modern Warfare 2 comes out in October or something. Kyler's going to be extra distracted. So 6 games might not even be, that might be too high. He's going to be grinding for that prestige.
That stat is, Kyler is a gamer and I'm sure he does play Call of Duty, but those numbers also align directly with when he gets banged up. So I think it's all.
Maybe he just purposely gets hurt.
Yeah,
He's wait till October. Please come, McCoy. I need to play. We'll see.
We shall see. Moving on to the NFC South. Q, start us off here. see if there's any wild takes in this division.
I think the Falcons will be competitive, but not enough to get many wins. They'll be like the Lions last year. I think they'll be 2-15, so they're at the bottom. Then we have the Saints at 5-12. There'll be another one that will score a lot of points, hopefully, because I own MT. But I think losing Sean Payton is going to hurt them. The Panthers at 7-9. Christian McCaffrey for a full season. This will save Matt Rule's career in Carolina, hopefully. And then the Bucks at 14-3, adding my man's Julio Jones and Todd Bowles, who may be a better coach than Bruce Arians. Tom Brady hasn't lost a step, hopefully. Lots of hopes, but 14-3 for them. Easy clear to the division.
Julio does not win them games.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think Julio's a reason they're winning games. I
won't.
think it's Brady and the established set of wide receivers and offense.
Sorry,
the only thing that
Julio's
scares me
not
about them
established.
is their
What?
O-line. Julio's way past established. He's over established. He's
That's
diminishing.
like a comp. Stop.
Whatever. Julio is
Over
not a big
1,200
difference maker.
yards.
Over 1,200 yards? This is not.
I
What's
saw
his over-under on Vegas? Like 400 yards?
I don't know, but someone made a parlay with like this player, plus this player all getting over plus 1,250 yards, and Julio was one of them.
Well, that's a terrible bet.
Awful
Throwing
bet.
money in the trash can.
Literally just burn
Week
it.
one, when he drops 89 yards and 2 touchdowns, we'll be back here week 2 talking about it.
Well,
You're talking
he'll
about
be
Russell
on,
Gage right now.
Yeah, Russell
Uh-huh.
Gage, baby. Gage turn. All right. Matt's records here real quick. Matt hates every team in this division except the Bucks. He's got the Panthers rounding out the bottom at 4-13. He's got the Falcons at 5-12 and the Saints at 6-11. So everyone absolutely struggling to even get close to 500 and the Bucks owning this division at 13-4. I do agree the Bucks are going to own this division. The other is maybe a little bit disrespectful. T-Gots, what do you got?
So I do have the Falcons at the bottom at 3-14. I do think that their offense though puts up some points, but like last year they were up games, even all the way back to when they were in the Super Bowl. Like they'll be up or they'll be like in games and just blow it. They just blow leads. They blow their chances. So like the weapons on the Falcons, like Pitts and all them, I think they'll all be fine. But I do think that them as a whole, they lose a whole bunch of games. Then I have the Panthers with one more win at 4-13. I'm sorry, Sean, but Baker, I hate Baker. I hate Baker more than any player in the league.
I know.
He's not he is not a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. He is hot garbage. Plus, McCaffrey can't stay healthy. So between Baker and maybe not having McCaffrey, who's leading the team? DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, and who else? Name one other person that's
Robbie
carrying
Anderson.
the team. No, he's not. The Saints.
LaVisca. Sorry.
Stop,
Laviska Shenault.
please. No.
New addition.
Saints with one more win after that at 5-12. Not a fan. Bucks 14-3. They're the Bucks. It's like Brady.
I had to give the Saints one win against the Bucks because they always do.
No, not this time.
I think they swept them last year.
Yeah, I'm with that. I have the Falcons at 2-15 as well. Just think that there's just no firepower on this team. And with Marcus Mariota at the helm, I just don't know if they're going to be really contending. And that defense is atrocious. I have the Saints at 8-9. I do think they are a sneaky outside playoff chance kind of team. As long as Jameis isn't throwing 5 picks a game and he actually settles down a little bit, they have a really good offensive pieces around them. They have really good wide receivers, very solid O-line, and Alvin Kamara in the backfield. The offense looks good, and they have a lot of solid pieces still on defense there too as well. So I think they can compete. I have the Panthers right above them at 9-8, another kind of fringe playoff team. I do think Baker upgrades this team.
No.
Come on, man. Baker,
You come
might hate
on, man.
Baker, but
You
Sam
come on.
Darnold, bro. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold was nice at the beginning of the year.
45-year-old Cam Newton and PJ Walker, as much as I love him, he barely got any playing time. It was a nightmare last year. I think this team gets a little bit better. I'm hoping McCaffrey's able to stay on the field as well. And I think their defense has some really good pieces. Brian Burns, a couple other guys on that defense that really shine. So I think they'll be competitive this year. But as everyone else said, Bucks at the top, 13-4 for me. it's going to be tough to beat the Bucks this year. And I think one of their losses I had was just like the last week of the season when they're cruising to the 1 seed. So
especially if Brady gets a divorce, watch out. Because I heard that rumor.
that's a wild rumor. He's got a lot of stuff going on, apparently. Keep an eye on him. And he's got some major work done, apparently, too. So, all right, that is the NFC. So before we get to the AFC, let's do today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy football, and you can get started now with their Best Ball Mania contest. With $10 million in prize money for only $25 to play. We have what did I say earlier? 8 days until the season starts. So make sure you get on that ASAP. And when you do sign up, just make sure you use our code SUPERFB for a 100% deposit match of up to $100. So like I said, it's only $25 to play. Deposit $25. They'll give you another $25 to throw into other contests, other leagues, whatnot. So again, our promo code is SUPERFB, SUPERFB, and you can play on the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS and Android, or you can sign up online at underdogfantasy.com.
This isn't baloney. I've won $50 in the last 2 weeks off Underdog, so it's legit.
It's definitely legit. Make sure to check it out. Even if you're not going to use our code or whatever, just check it out. Download it. It's a lot of fun. When you're entering contests, you're basically entering a live draft like ESPN, and the ADP is very different because they're all money leagues. So,
Check it out.
Check it out. Let's get into the AFC North. Q, who will win the AFC North this year?
Finally, a division that's more competitive. But Steelers going through probably a quarterback carousel. I have them at 6-11. Mike Tomlin's first ever season under 500. Then we have the Browns, who I probably would have had win the division if D-Watt was healthy, but I have them at 9-8. I think Brissett will be just good enough to get them over 500. Then we have the Ravens, which may change if Lamar does decide to hold out week 1 if his contract isn't decided. Have them at 10-7. Even though Huntley is like the same thing as Lamar, honestly.
Stop.
And then the Bengals will win this division again at 12-5. I kind of wanted to believe they'll miss theory or whatever, but I just think there's too much going on with the other teams that they're the only one that's still all together and just as good as the Super Bowl team last year. So 12-5, they'll win this division again.
I like it. I think the Bengals are going to be solid, but stop disrespecting my boy Lamar like that, man. He was an MVP. Huntley replaces him just fine, but he is not the same as Lamar. He's a downgrade.
RG3 and Huntley would hold this team together the same way Lamar would.
No, they wouldn't. Lamar takes them to another level. Huntley just manages the team at a minimum level.
How many playoff games has he won?
Lamar?
RG3 has at least won one.
Yeah. I think more than Huntley, definitely. I don't know.
Not saying much.
Anyways, Matt has the Browns as the bottom feeders of this division, completely disagreeing with you here at 4-13. He also has the Steelers almost getting back to 500 at 8-9. Maybe it would still keep Mike Tomlin's record if it wasn't a 17-game season. Bengals at 11-6, and the Ravens at 13-4, stealing this division crown from the Bengals.
The Steelers were saved last year by a tie, being 8-1. So that's pretty much what he needs. That's what we should have. Did anybody put any ties in?
I didn't put any ties in. It's tough to predict a tie, especially with like a matchup. Like, oh yeah, this game's gonna be a tie. Like, it's so random. Yeah, I didn't predict any, but there definitely could be one. All right, T guys, what do you got?
I'm sorry, Steelers. 5-12. I'm the only person in this offense that I have faith in is Najee. What?
Oh, you're a Deontay stan.
No, dude.
I'm not. On?
I moved on. God. I moved on big time.
Disrespect.
I know. You can verse me later. The Browns 6-11. Nothing exciting is going on there. Nothing like
Jacoby season.
Is it?
Or
no.
Kellen Mond.
It's not.
They so signed him too.
He stinks.
Then I got the Ravens at 11-6. Like, I think a little bit of bias there. I enjoy the Ravens. I don't know. I just always have. They definitely have the cleanest uniforms. I don't care what anybody says. I know.
That's a
I know.
lie.
As a kid, you liked at least one team because their uniforms.
Chargers, baby.
Chargers
Come on.
Uh-huh,
or the Bengals
exactly.
or the
Chargers and the
Eagles.
Panthers.
All right. And then the Bengals, 14-3. They did nothing but upgrade in the offseason. They didn't change anything except for the O-line. And there's too many weapons there. There's too many people to look out for. They're gonna win so many games, and maybe the Super Bowl. Maybe the winners. I don't know.
They did
Ooh.
lose.
Gonna have to
CJ
wait and
Uzomah.
see. Wait and
Yeah,
see.
they did lose Uzama. Don't forget about Uzama.
Oh my God! Oh. Nobody's concerned.
Oh, they got Hayden Hurst. I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I almost
Can't forget about
forgot.
Hayden Hurst.
Almost forgot.
Almost forgot. All right. I'll wrap it up here. I have the Steelers and the Browns both going 7-10. I think both teams are going to be very competitive throughout the season. I think the Browns are going to be basically just run it down your throat and play good defense kind of team. They're going to try and stay in low scoring games and not have to force Brissett to air it out. I think the Steelers 7-10. I think Mike Tomlin's going to push for that 500 team, but I just think with the QB situation, I don't know if I can predict Mitch Trubisky to be above 500 as of right now. And as much as I like Kenny Pickett, he's still a rookie, still got a lot to learn. So it scares me a little bit there. I do not have the Bengals winning this division. I have them at 11-6, and I have the Ravens stealing the division at 12-5. I think it's really going to be between those two in this division this year. There's just both of those teams are loaded. I know the Ravens did lose Hollywood Brown, but I don't think that's really going to slow them down that much. Like you mentioned, though, if Lamar does hold out or anything like that, that's obviously a big change. But as it stands, just like this Ravens team, they're going to have a good rushing attack. Bateman and Andrews are going to hold down the pass attack, and the defense is rock solid as well. So I like the Ravens. It's close, though. It's close. Ravens,
Definitely will be
Bengals.
close.
Yeah, I just think the Bengals coming off the Super Bowl, it's going to be tough to immediately come back out here and start crushing games. But luckily, they do have not the hardest schedule to start the season. So we shall see. All right, AFC East. Q, what do you got?
So the lousy Patriots are going to finish this division at 2-15. Their team is god awful, just as bad as the Bears.
Wow, they were a playoff team last year.
Yeah, well, now they don't even know who their offensive coordinator is. That doesn't even matter. But Mac Jones is just not good. So they're going to be 2-15.
Insane.
Third place, we'll have the Jets. Maybe I would have given them a couple more wins if Zach Wilson was healthy, but 3-14 for the Jets. I don't believe in Joe Flacco that much, but they'll steal some wins mainly within the division, and they beat the Bears because the Bears are just awful. Then at second place, we have the Dolphins at 9-8. I think Tua is the one that's going to hold them back for winning too many games. And Tyreek Hill, I'll just say that he's getting older, so he's not that explosive enough to give them more than 10 wins. And then the Bills at 16-1 with their only loss coming to the Chiefs. I guess they won't get that rematch win that they wanted last year, but maybe in the playoffs.
Wow.
I have the same prediction
16-1.
for the Bills.
Juicy. Oh,
Same exact prediction.
Let's go.
I like it. You might as well hop into yours now while you're at it.
I'll
Bills at
hop in.
16-1.
I'll hop in. The first thing I wanted to say about Q's take was that there's no way that Bill Belichick lets them only get 2 wins. There's no way. There's no way.
He might quit, and then they won't.
No, he's not quitting. He's too good of a coach. They're 5-12. 5 is the floor, in my opinion. Bill Belichick is just too good of a coach. He knows how to win games. I guess I'll work my way down this time. Dolphins 9-8. I don't think they're going to be as good as everybody is predicting. I still don't know about Tua. I'm not there yet with my level of trust. And the Jets, they're going to get 1 win. 1-16 if they're lucky.
Wow.
Who's it come against?
The Jags, week 16.
All right. 1 win against the Jags. Juicy.
I'm not a believer.
I believe you. I'm with you. I'll get to mine in a second here.
All right.
I think I like the talent on their team, but I still think they're way too young and they're just not ready.
The Jets have more talented players than the Patriots.
Coaching, bro. It matters.
Yeah, but
It matters.
You can't coach a bunch of scrubs.
I mean,
Mac Jones is elite.
Were the Patriots that good last year that they were able to get to 10-7?
Their defense was just that good.
I think,
but even there, they lost
solid
players.
Again. Yeah. Matt has the Jets at 3-14. Also, the bottom feeders of the division. Matt is on Q side here with the Patriots at 6-11. Matt also is not a fan of the Dolphins at 8-9, and he has the Bills storming this division at 14-3. Mine's semi-similar. I have the Jets at 2-15. I'm with T Gods in the fact that I don't think they're going to win many. I'm also with Q that one of their wins will be against the Bears, and I have them stealing a game against the Patriots. And then I have the Dolphins at 7-10. I feel like I might be a little low. I feel like they're probably going to be a little bit closer to 500. But as I was going through this and I was going team by team, going down their schedules, I feel like every time I came up to the Dolphins, I was like, that team can beat the Dolphins, or this team can beat the Dolphins. They can get that win. And they also have a pretty kind of tough schedule. Like, obviously, the Bills twice. They play at the Chargers. They're playing the Packers, the 49ers. They're playing the Browns, the Vikings. It's not the easiest schedule for the Dolphins to come into. They're also playing at the Bengals as well and at the Ravens. Like, it's a lot of tough games for this Dolphins team to overcome. I have the Patriots at 9-8. So I guess I'm the biggest believer still here in Bill Belichick. I think last year they were a playoff team. I do think they take a little bit of a step back, but I still think they're just going to hover around 500. They're going to be competitive. They're going to win games. You're going to be like, how are they winning? And then they're going to lose games that are going to be head scratchers, similar to Patriots every year, without Tom Brady anyways. And the Bills, 13-4, taking this division. The Bills are just, that roster stacked. I don't have to say anything else about the Bills.
Calling the Patriots a playoff team is just so pointless because they even score a point. They couldn't even stop the Bills. The Bills dropped 50 on them.
Yeah, they got absolutely destroyed.
So they might as well just not even have appeared to the game.
I mean, the Eagles did too, right?
They scored
waxed. Yep.
Not as waxed.
Yeah.
They at least got the Bucks to punt once. Bills punter was sleeping.
Let's not talk about Bills.
Yeah,
punter.
well, dude, come on. Don't go there. Don't go there. It wasn't
the same punter. This guy was.
We know. I know.
Sorry, I won't. Yeah, I won't use either of those words.
Let's keep those two words separate. All right, AFC West. Starting with Q. What do you got?
The best division. I have the Chiefs in last place at 10-7. I'll still give them a positive record, but
all 10 wins plus. Wild.
10 wins plus. Second place is a tie, I guess you could say.
Third place, I guess. Oh, yeah.
Second, third place tie, 12-5 with the Broncos and the Raiders.
Okay.
And then at first place, the Chargers, of course, they're finishing 14-3. Now, maybe you thought I was going to say 17-0 because of Herbert, but
I was ready for it.
Now, Bills have the best record on my sheet, but 14-3 for the Chargers. They've gone way better. While the Raiders have gone better too, and the Broncos, but the Chiefs belong at the bottom because they just took a lot more losses than additions.
I respect it. I think all these teams are going to be so good, and I think all of us have them. I think the worst record any of us has here is 8-9. So I'll move on to Matt's here real quick with the Raiders. He has them at 8-9, missing the playoffs, obviously. He's got the Broncos at 10-7, Chiefs at 11-6, and the Chargers at 13-4. So all three of those teams having 10 wins. He still has the Chiefs at second there. Respect to Big Red. I don't hate Matt's. I like it. I'll get to mine in a minute after T Gods gets to his.
You might hate mine. I don't know. I kind of hate it. I do like. Okay, so last place I have the Broncos at 8-9. I know, and I think I am sleep. But this is a super hard division. Like it really is like super hard.
This division's getting screwed. And they're probably going to lose a lot of games like really close.
Right.
I think they have the second best defense of this division.
Yeah, I do think they have a good defense.
Fair. This is easily the hardest division to do. Like it's so hard. Like second place, bro, I have the Chiefs 9-8.
Oh my God.
But like I had them losing to the Chargers. Very realistic. I had them losing to the Bucks. Realistic. The Raiders and the Bills, both. I believe in the Raiders. I'm sorry. Like I do. I truly, truly do. I had them losing to the Chargers again. I had them losing to the Bengals. I had them losing to the Broncos in one of their games, and I had them losing to the Raiders again. But like call me crazy, but like 9-8 like it's a real possibility here. Like plus it's the first season without Tyreek. Like maybe the first couple games will be rough. I'm sure like they'll get used to it, but like I don't know. 9-8 for the Chiefs. And then I have the Raiders at 12-5. Like I said, I believe I am. I am on the train. All aboard the Raiders train. I am there. Chargers 16-1. Elite. Jay Herbo. Elite.
Oh my God. 16-1. Spicy.
They're too good. They are too good.
I easily ride that. I was just trying to be generous and give them a couple losses, but I feel more 16-1 with them than the Bills.
Wow. Spicy stuff. I'll wrap up this division here. I got the Raiders at 9-8 at the bottom. Unfortunately, somebody's got to be at the bottom. I think in many other divisions, the Raiders might be winning off the AFC South easily. The Chiefs I have next at 10-7. Giving them 10 wins. I still think this team has a lot of talent. Defense may not be that pretty, but Mahomes is still going to eat. This offense is still going to be good. Offensive line is still very good. So they should be just fine on that end of the ball. Broncos I have in second place at 11-6. Like you mentioned, I think they have a really solid defense. Adding Russell Wilson with a solid O-line and some solid weapons, they're going to be putting up some points and winning a lot of games. And wrapping it up, I'm in the same boat as everyone else. Chargers winning the division. They've been so inconsistent for the last few years, somehow managed to miss the playoffs last year, but I have them at 12-5. They've added all the pieces on defense that they've needed. This team has I think they have a pretty decent O-line. Obviously, the passing game speaks for itself, and Eckler in the backfield, gotta love it. And they just got Sony Michel, man. That's a game changer right there.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, but in general, Chargers 12-5. I think this could be anyone's division. I literally have them all separated by 3 wins total. So like the worst team is still above 500 for me. But I'm giving the slight edge to the Chargers and the Broncos, Chiefs and the Raiders at the bottom there.
Sleep on the Raiders.
Maybe a little sleep, but it's going to be close all the way throughout the season.
Definitely.
Like every division game is going to be like primetime game. Like they should be because they're going to be that good. All right. AFC South, last division before we get into our playoff lineups and the Super Bowl predictions. So Q, start us off.
So coming in last, it'll be third straight year for the Jaguars with the worst record in the league at 1-16. So they'll get another number 1 overall pick. Good job, Doug. Third place, I'm going to give it to the Texans. I like Davis Mills, but this team just can't compete with who they have to play against. Third place, I have the Titans at 5-12. They're no longer going to be the first seed in the AFC. And AJ Brown, I'm going to give that. Give him a lot of credit for the reason why they're going to be so low. I think Derrick Henry will not be able to take all the work that he's going to be given. And then the Colts at 7-9. So none of these teams finish over 500. I think Matt Ryan is not much of an upgrade from Wentz, but the team around him is still better than any of the other teams' skill players. So very stinky division. This is like the new NFC East. But yeah.
Wow. Hating on this entire division. I don't think it's going to be good, but Titans from 12-5 to 5-12 is quite a flip. All right, I'll go with Matt's real quick here. Jaguars at 4-13 as the bottom feeders of this division. Matt actually hates this entire division because next he has the Texans and the Titans at 6-11. So he's on the same boat with UQ for the Titans. And he has the Colts winning the division at 8-9. Under 500. Ugly division. It's going to be the NFC least, like you mentioned. Matt has it being the AFC so bad it hurts to look at.
What 6 teams are the Texans beating?
The
Commanders
6 teams
is a lot.
Commanders,
I actually think
the
I have them at
Colts,
5 though.
The Texans, and the Jaguars, and the Giants.
I have the Texans beating the Jaguars.
You said the Titans or the Texans?
The Texans.
Oh, Bears, Jaguars, Titans, Jaguars. So
I have them sweeping the Jaguars, beating the Titans, beating the Giants, and then I have them upsetting the Raiders.
No way.
Oh my!
Don't say that
God.
to T, guys.
Dude,
there's going to be upsets.
You're
You have to pick
bonkers.
upsets. They can't pick all the good teams to beat all the bad teams.
That was like You were just like rushing these or something.
Right. Please
Ooh,
ask.
typical Raiders to choke some random game, and you're gonna be like, "What just happened?"
That's a typo.
We shall see about that one. All right, T-Gods, what do you got?
Tied for last are going to be the Jags and the Texans, both 2-15. Both teams you are not going to want to watch. You're probably not going to have anyone on their team. They're kind of just on just for fun. And then huge upgrade, 9 more wins than last place in this division is the Titans, 11-6. I feel like the Titans just win. I don't know how, but like things just happen and they just win games. I don't know how it happens. Regardless, Colts 14-3.
Wow.
Matt Ryan
Juice.
is not here to play. He's going to come in and just Pittman's going off. JT's going off. Their defense is going off.
O-line's going off.
Colts season. O-line's going off. Everybody's eating on the Colts.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like the Colts too. I'll wrap up here. I got the Jaguars at 3-14. Doug Peterson's going to find a couple wins here or there for this team. And I do think Trevor Lawrence does take a step in the right direction this year, but not enough to win them any relevant amount of games. Texans at 5-12. Like I just mentioned, I told you who I think they're going to beat. I think they're just going to be an interesting team. I don't think they're going to be like in your face, but I think they're going to be a little bit gritty, kind of like the Lions last year. They'll get to 5 wins. They'll fight back. Davis Mills, I think he's decent. I don't think he's going to be great, but I do like Davis Mills. But the top of this division remains the same for me. The Titans at 10-7. I think the Titans are going to be good. Like T-God said, they just find ways to win. I'm a big believer in Mike Vrabel as the head coach. I think he knows how to coach. He knows how to coach a winning team. Derrick Henry, as long as he's healthy, this team's going to be just fine. And the Colts at 11-6. I think they're just solid. I went through this the first time and I gave them actually 14 wins as well for like T-Gods did. And then I was like, I feel like that's just too many wins. And I went back and went through their schedule and I was like, all right, they might lose a couple more of these games. I think 11-6 feels right. Maybe 12-5. I like their defense a lot. And like the offense is built perfectly to run the crap out of the ball and throw it up to Michael Pittman. Like that's all you have to do. And they should be in games and competing for wins.
Love it.
I love it as well. All right, let's get into our playoff predictions. You know all the records we just gave out. So I'll start with Matt's real quick for his NFC and AFC playoff predictions. So Matt has the Eagles as the 1 seed at 16-1. They're getting the bye. And then he's got basically a tie at 2, 3, and 4. They all have 13-4. Rams, Vikings, and the Bucks. And then to wrap up the wild card spots, he's got the Cowboys, 49ers, and the Packers. And his bubble teams that he had close to the playoffs were the Cardinals and the Lions. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it that much. It's not that bad, but 16-1 for the Eagles is kind of crazy. AFC for Matt, he has the Bills at 14-3 at the 1 seed. Ravens and the Chargers tied at 13-4 for 2 and 3. He has the Colts at the 4 seed with a whopping 8-9 record, like I just mentioned. And he has the Bengals, Chiefs, and Broncos all making the playoffs at 5, 6, and 7. So he's got 3 AFC West teams. Raiders, unfortunately, missing out there, but another bubble team for him as well.
Do we have all the same NFC teams at least in the playoffs?
All of us?
Eagles, Vikings, Bucks, Rams, Niners, Packers, Cowboys.
Nope. Sleep on the Cardinals.
Yeah, sleep on the Cardinals.
So that's the only difference. Just before we went all down the same list. But
yeah, I have the Cardinals in there instead. I think that's the only difference I have. I don't have the Niners.
Oh.
You don't have the Niners either, right?
I do not. So
right.
Sorry, Dr. Disrespect.
Q, go ahead with your playoff predictions.
So you heard my NFC Eagles and Vikings. Eagles get the tiebreaker to take the 1 seed. Both at 15-2. Then we have Bucks, Rams, 49ers. 49ers are like the drop off to being under 10 wins. And then Packers and Cowboys sneak in with the final 7 seed. Blech. Who would they play the Eagles round 1? Yeah, they would. and we'd
For the
smoke
2
them.
seed
No, we're the 1 seed.
in round. So the Eagles would have a bye. If they're the 1 seed.
Was there a bye last? The Bucks weren't the 1 seed, weren't they?
1
Oh,
seed
no, they
gets a
weren't.
bye. 2 versus 7, 6 versus 3, 4 versus 5.
All right, I'd kind of want the 2 seed then just to smoke them round 1. But then the AFC, I have Bills and Chargers, 1 and 2 seed, Raiders, Broncos, Bengals, and then Chiefs and Ravens sneak in there also. So those would be the NFC and AFC playoff picture.
All right. I like it. T-Gods, what do you got?
Pretty much the same as everybody else. Bucks at 1. Well, besides Q and Matt, I guess. Bucks at 1, definitely. Eagles at 2, 13-4. Vikings right there at 3, 13-4 as well. Then we got the Rams, 12-5. Cardinals, 11-6. Cowboys, 10-7. Packers, 10-7. Someone to look out for. I'll say it again. The Lions. The Lions might sneak in. They might do it.
Over the Cardinals, please.
It could happen. Q may get his wish.
Beat the Cardinals round 1, then Sean would explode.
Explode. That would be insane.
Jared
Sean would
Goff
cry.
over Kyler Murray.
Oh my God, stop. That won't happen.
Sean would be
I'd
punching
cry.
the air.
The Lions over the Cardinals? No, not happening. Refuse. Although I think the Lions beat them last year during the regular season.
Yep, they suck.
Nah,
Oh my
it's still
God.
11 wins.
All right. AFC, Bills and Chargers both up there, 1-2, 16-1. Number 3 is the Bengals, 14-3. Colts, 14-3. Raiders, number 5 at 12-5. The Ravens, 11-6. The Titans, 11-6. And honestly, like, I'm not even that confident because like the AFC is like
It's deep.
insane. Anything could happen. Like the majority of the teams are very good.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of differences in our AFCs, but our NFCs are pretty similar.
Yeah.
I think the NFC is relatively standard across most people's predictions. But I'll wrap up here for our playoff predictions. I got the Bucks at 13-4, the 1 seed. Got the Eagles and the Packers both at 12-5. I think the Eagles I have for the tiebreaker, so they get the 2 seed. Packers at 3. Rams at 4 with 11-6, winning their division as well. Vikings at 11-6 as well, getting that first wild card spot. Cardinals at 10-7 in the 6, and Cowboys at 10-7 in the 7 seed. And a couple teams just to keep an eye on, like I mentioned, Panthers, Saints, 49ers. I think all 3 of them could easily squeak into one of those 6 or 7 seeds. They're all very solid. And like T-God said, maybe even the Lions, maybe a bit of a stretch. I don't know if they're a little spicy. They got a little juice to them. They got a little juice to them. They're a bubble team. And with my prediction, I have the Eagles and the Cowboys meeting off in the first round of the playoffs. Eagles will destroy them in that game.
Smoking that Cowboy.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right, AFC. Got the Bills at the 1 seed, 13-4. I got the Ravens at the 2, 12-5. Same record. Chargers at the 3, 12-5. Pretty much interchangeable there, depending on whatever the tiebreakers are. Colts winning their division as well at 11-6. 5-6 seed. I also have it 11-6. Bengals and the Broncos. Russell Wilson back in the playoffs. And I have the Chiefs at 10-7 at the 7 seed, squeaking in. And they're definitely going to make some noise. Chiefs Ravens would be a really fun first round matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Bubble teams. Titans obviously still have a good shot at making the playoffs, as well as the Raiders. And I do still think the Patriots have a chance. I just can't count out Bill Belichick. It's just
You
count him out. He
You
made it
cannot
last
do that.
year with that
Q,
team. There's a
wake
chance. There's
They
always a chance.
suck.
always a chance.
Always a chance. All right, let's do our Super Bowl predictions before we get out of here. Matt, I'll start with his since he's not here. And Dave spoiled in the chat. Dave said Birds versus Bills Super Bowl. Matt has the Eagles versus the Bills in the Super Bowl, and he has the Eagles winning it all.
Do you think he would say the Bills win?
No. That's what he told me. That's his bias. So Eagles.
I mean, if you're
versus Bills.
16-1, obviously you're good enough to beat the Bills.
I think the Eagles obviously have a chance at the Super Bowl, but to predict it feels tough. I'm not that confident. I am very confident in Jalen Hurts and this team, but that's a little bit far-fetched for me to predict right now.
A little bit.
All
lot
right,
of
Q, what do you got?
You just hate your home team. You hate to
I got
not
like
count them in.
12-5. They're winning the division. It's 2 seed. They'll be good. I don't know if I'm that confident to be like
What if they're
they're
taking
winning
out-
the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, my Super Bowl, because
I couldn't go with the Eagles bias, so I'll take another bias. So I'm going to go Rams versus Chargers, and of course the Chargers are going to win that. I think the Rams. Yeah, I don't need to say much. Chargers definitely have a better team than the Rams, better quarterback than the Rams. Maybe not a better. Give them better defense than the Rams. Also, two LA teams battling off and forget where they are this year, but doesn't even matter. Jay Herbo, Super Bowl MVP, not close.
All right. I like it. I'm going to just piggyback real quick because I also have the Chargers in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Bucks, not against the Rams. I don't think the Rams get back there. I do think the Rams obviously make the playoffs, like I mentioned, but I think the Chargers and the Bucks, and I have the Chargers winning it all as well. So I've jumped on the Chargers train with Q here. I'm a big believer in this offense. They've been kind of down bad a little bit for the last decade and a half in terms of playoff success. They've been owned by Tom Brady. And it's going to be nice to watch Justin Herbert beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl this year.
Just don't give me Eagles Chargers because then I'll be conflicted.
All right. Anything to be conflicted about.
Easily.
I know.
Any conflicted. All right, you guys wrap it up.
So I guess I'll take a little bit from everybody here. I also have the Bills along with Matt in the chip. And they're going to be playing not the Eagles, they're playing the Bucks because like I love the Eagles. Do I have enough? Exactly. Like I don't have enough faith in them to beat Brady. I'm like
they did though.
I think they can.
Foles did.
It's possible, but
Foles did it.
You're
but
right.
anyway, Bucks versus Bills. Bills are winning. Josh Allen is a different type of human. He's just too good. Doesn't matter who he's thrown to. He's just like he could do it all. I love that man. Even though he couldn't get me that 1 yard for $10,000, but still. Either way, he's different.
He is definitely
different. I was 1 yard away from $10,000. Sorry, I had to get that out.
Bringing back up PTSD. But with sports betting and the NFL season right around the corner, again, if you are interested in using Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use our code SUPERFB to help support us. But that's it for the NFL predictions episode. We will revisit this episode like we do with our award show at the end of the season when we do our end of season recap, and we will see how far off we were with some of these predictions. See if one of us predicted the Super Bowl winner right now. You never know. If you are still here on Twitch, throw us a follow, turn on notifications so you don't miss us when we are live. Throw us up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. That's where you can find the audio. Pretty much any podcast platform, our podcast is most likely there. And then Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Super Fantasy Bros. Search us, find us. That's where you can find more content. We'll have some Instagram posts coming out in the next week or so, as well as always active on Twitter. So see you guys next Wednesday for our week 1 preview. It's a wrap. Peace.